Good evening, boys and girls. Happy Friday. It's Casual Friday here at the squad, but don't get too casual because it's Kevin Says. Hello, squaddies. It's Friday night in England. It's Friday afternoon in the United States of America, and it's early hours in other parts of the world. But all I know is fresh right here on the show once again this evening is Super Kevin Campbell, the legend himself.
Oh, beating England, beat them. What was that today?
All I know is Kieran Tierney was my man of the match. That's all I know.
Fair play to Scotland. I never gave them a chance, to be honest, but I thought they were brilliant. I thought they were absolutely brilliant. Him and Robertson, Tierney and Robertson down that left-hand side were causing all sorts of problems, nullified any attacks. There was no attacks down that side. We just couldn't get it together. I thought Southgate would have freshened it up a little bit, but Grealish needed to be on from the start, etc. So, hey, listen, we're not as good as we think we are.
Just like, I'm not being funny, Kev. I'm not trying to be cute in any way, shape, or form. But did that not feel a little bit like watching Arsenal play?
Yeah.
You've got the talent.
Do you know what? It did. It really did. There was a spot in the second half, late on, where I just looked at it and I thought, this feeling, I've had this feeling before too many times. I know where it comes from. It's the Arsenal. Jesus.
I mean, credit to Scotland. They suffocated England. They didn't allow them the space. I have to say, Kev, I'd love your thoughts on this before we get into Kevin Says real quick, just for 5 minutes, because we did let everyone know that we're going to talk about this game. Is Declan Rice overrated?
No, I think Declan Rice is what he is. He's a defensive midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
And he does the job. He does that job. What more are you expecting from himself? That's the thing, because when you actually get people ahead of him doing their jobs, which is creating, scoring, playing decisive and playing effective football, then he gets the space in order to operate. But when they're not doing their jobs, he's not the type of player who's going to make a real difference. He's not that type of player.
So and to be fair, I think Calvin Phillips got all the credit in the
one. I still believe Ireland will win this Euro. What? No, he must mean €1. He must mean €1.
€1. And then there's good evening to all the squaddies, by the way. Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the show, Addy Soldiers. Here we go. Kev, there's a few messages for you in here saying it's the players, Kev.
It is. Hey, listen, hold on a minute. Remember, this is virtually the same team that done Croatia and look great.
Yeah.
So, is it the manager or is it the players, guys?
So I was going to get to the point of going back to Declan Rice. Calvin Phillips had such a good game that you didn't even notice Declan Rice in the game because Phillips had such an amazing match that there was no criticism. And of course, when you have a game like this, and remember, we said on the show the other night, Kev, it's a derby. It's a totally different beast to playing Czech Republic, Croatia, and any of those other teams. There's a rivalry, there's a hatred.
Some of the players know you as well.
They know you really well. And also, when you look at the game in Hungary, Kev, with 67,000, imagine if Wembley was packed tonight. What is that about, man?
I know. Listen, someone's mugging us off somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. The thing is, there's 67,000 people, no masks, nothing.
And did you see them all in Leicester Square today?
Yeah, I did. I got videos of they were body surfing. They were doing all sorts. I think someone even went for a swim in Hyde Park.
They did. They were like doing slides outside our good friends at the Hippodrome, Kev.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was brilliant.
It was fun. And Mark
That's
wants
how
me
football used to be, wasn't it?
Mark wants you to Southgate's neck as well.
Come here, Garrick. Broke up the neck.
Kev, you're right. That atmosphere, these two countries, to me, it's just such a shame, especially on a soggy Friday night. The crowd would have made so much more of a difference, and we've seen that as well, Kev. It's just a shame that more fans weren't able to go. And when you see how many thousands there were in Leicester Square tonight, kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Universal Greek wants you to explain real quick, Kev, taking Foden off. I didn't think Foden had a good game tonight, and I didn't think he had a good game against Croatia. I don't think he's had a good tournament so far.
Some starts. I think there's been a couple of things he's done that have been decent, but, you know, he hasn't really... Look, he's there for a reason to unlock a door.
Yeah.
Not only is he there to play well, he's there to unlock the door. And I don't think he's quite done that just yet. So... that's the reason taking him off. Sterling's the one with the more experience who can nick more of a goal than Foden. So Grealish comes on and Sterling switches sides. So I get that. I get that.
Like every big game, Kev, it was a bit of a letdown in the end, wasn't it? It was built up, and I think it just kind of felt a little bit flat. I've got to say, and this might be an unpopular opinion, I don't think it's been a stellar, exciting tournament so far. I don't think it's come to light so far.
It hasn't. The knockout
do you agree
stage.
With me?
Yeah, the knockout stage, that's when we're going to see it really start to take shape.
All right. Speaking of knockouts, do not fear. Kevin says Friday is here. By the way, Kevin says a year ahead of Seaman says, just saying, that's me. Now my humble opinion.
Goalie, stop trying to steal my thunder, boss. You know what I mean? He's trying to steal our thunder.
I mean, come on, the ponytail, and now he's trying to steal our thunder. But anyway, we love safe hands. Totally. All right, Kev, let's get this show on the road. Squaddies, are you ready? I gave you a teaser of what this is about tonight. You better be ready. You better come prepared. And everyone in chat, chime in, and remember, hit that like button if you think Kane played shit tonight. It's Kevin Says, it's Casual Friday. Here we go. He's ready to brock the necks. Squaddies.
Hi, everyone. This is Kev Says, part 32. I'm sure it's 32. And look, let's get cracking because we haven't got time to waste. So, question number 1. What chances do you give the Arsenal to challenge for a Champions League spot next season? What chances?
What chances do you give the Arsenal to qualify for the Champions League next season?
Static.
It's a great question, Kev.
Can I tell
can you give it the caveat? Yes.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
Can I tell you why I asked this question? Because it sets it up for question 2. Right? Is why I asked this question now. Because remember, we done a show at the end of last season where we're saying in this window we want to hit the ground running. And we're still waiting. So I think are we under hypnosis or something? What do people think now? Because I was hoping that we'd get make some moves, even though if we don't sign them, but we know players are coming. That's, other teams have done that. Well, why can't we do it?
Yeah, and you know what annoys me the most is when I see and I read all the reports, and we're going to get to this a little bit later in your Kevin Says, but all the players that I want us to sign are connected with Leicester, which is really annoying. It's really bugging me, Kev. But let's get to the Squaddies' responses here, and we will rattle them off one by one. You're saying right now, sorry, that was a bug right in front of me.
Good
You're
catch.
saying, thank you, safe hands.
Safe hands.
You're saying right now without knowing who our transfer targets are? Or are you saying with 2 or 3 additions, we know they're coming in potentially? What do you think? What's the caveat?
The caveat is This is why I put to the squaddies now. What do the squaddies think? Do they think the former or the latter or something totally different?
Okay. All right. So we're going to start here with Martin. 60% chance of top 4. Prash says 70%. Guna Vettel, not much, Kevin. Is that that sounds like a Formula One fan right there. Barry, depends on signings, Kev. Won't know till eve of season. I mean, in my humble opinion, I think I know that we may bring in 2 or 3 players, but in my mind, I know what you're asking, and I say we've got no chance right now. Avon says 1 in 8. Gunner Forever says if we get the right players in, then we have a great chance.
And don't
Dundee.
forget, the other caveat is this: we have no Europe. While all the other teams are going to be battling in Europe and then flying back and having midweek games, we haven't got any of that.
Yeah, this is a very good point. Very good point. Anik says 50% chance if we spend 80 million plus. Usopp says 80%. MK.
I like Usopp.
Yeah, 80%. That's very optimistic. Must have been listening to last night's show.
I tell you what, MK, I'll take it all back. You said 2-2 and it was 0-0. I'll take it all back, MK. My God. Sorry, darling. Jesus, please.
Oh, my God. Do you remember last night, MK? You're like calling her out and everything.
Calling her out.
That's hilarious.
Oh, my God. Talk about egg on the face. I've got 2 pies in there.
And Kev, I did a total dodgy flip-flop because I said Scotland last week. I said Scotland would get a point off England. And then last night, I'm like, no chance. We're going to beat them 4-1. That didn't happen either, did it?
Hey, listen, the thing is England didn't turn up. That's the big problem. England didn't turn up.
Sean says depends on the transfer window. Let's have a bit more balls here, you guys. What do you think now?
Yeah, like, stop sitting on the fence, squaddies.
Let's not sit on the fence. Let's go here. Can't say into ins and outs. Can I get back to you next month, says Mark. Taib, here we go. At least this is a firm response. No chance, Super Kev. Tell us why, Taib. I think I have an idea why. Pepteta says depends on transfers. Okay, here's something positive, Kev. Playman.
Parapanov. Yeah, okay. 100%. Okay.
Ask says depends on our transfer window. Ryan's giving us the Copa America scores. Thank you.
All right. Hey, Sophie, I've got a quick question for you.
Yes.
And the squaddies can join in if they want. This is the extra bonus one involved in this. Do you think Aubameyang will get 20 goals next season?
I think he's going to get 22.
If he's going to get 20 goals next season, I believe
we can make it.
And I believe we can make it.
You've tuned into the positive episode on the Highbury squad, ladies and gentlemen. We believe we can achieve.
I believe.
New t-shirts. We believe we can achieve. DJ Tony Perry's got to make us a jingle for that. Naaman, we need to sign players first. Right now, no chance for me. Okay, fair dues. You don't think we can do it now, and depending on who we sign, you think that we might be able to do that. Jermaine says no chance if we don't get the right players. Woody Wood. I'm sure that's a Toy Story thing. Yes, it is. Look at the thumbnail. 0 with the current owner and manager. Sorry. Newman, the overly optimistic, no chance of challenging for a Champions League spot. They don't have enough money to improve the squad, and Arteta is too dull and pragmatic. He's been a bit dull and pragmatic, hasn't he?
Well, the team have as well, haven't they? So, listen, as a football club, we've struggled. So I make Newman right for once. I make him right. There needs to be a bit more electricity.
Don't give him too much fuel, Casey.
No, listen, I could agree with him once, and it is off season.
you can agree with him once. Let's get rid of that.
And it is
glare right there. Richard, if we don't get our transfers sorted out, we'll struggle to make top 7. I have to say I agree. Universal Greek, Γεια σου, τι κάνεις? Ελπίζω καλά να είσαι. We've got to challenge for the Europa League places before we can dream of challenging for a CL place. That's a good point, Kev. Are we aiming for the moon when we need to land on the stars first?
We've got to aim for space. We've got to aim for the stars. We've got to aim for the highest we can.
Okay.
But the Champions League is the ultimate. It is the ultimate for us. We need to get back in there. And a season without Europe, that's what we need. We need, if we qualify for the Europa this season, I'm not saying that's a bad season or anything, that because we didn't qualify for it last season.
Right.
But we need, if this train is going to keep pushing on the track, we've got to tear some shit up.
Also, Kev, Martin makes a good point, and you've said this on a previous show. Without Europe, you said it tonight too, as a distraction, we've got a good shot. You've got to make the most of not being in Europe, Kevin.
100%, Sophie. And I cannot stress this enough, Sophie. Having the time to train and game plan for teams who play in Europe in midweek is so important.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're playing, and the worst thing is, Sophie, when you have to play on a Thursday, because you are all of a sudden out of sync with a lot of the other teams. Because even the teams who play in the Champions League, they're a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So they get the time to relax or rest, and then they play on a Saturday. We're playing Thursday, you're out of sync, and then you're playing Sunday, which you're out of sync. So you keep doing that, and you want a bit of continuity.
And we've had that for how many seasons now, Kev? That Sunday, that Thursday.
Was it 4 or 5, isn't it?
4 or 5 seasons, yeah.
4 or 5 seasons.
What do you think about what Demsek says? KC, we need to finish at least 5th, or Arteta has to be in the firing line. What do you make of that?
I think the top 6, 7, possibly 6, top 6. Finish the top 6. I think you might, depending on how the season goes, then people might say, okay, if you've seen enough improvement going around and you see, right, we've got a plan, then fine, if we're moving in the right direction. But this is such an important season for Mikel Arteta. It is. Really is such an important season.
Oh, it's make or break, Kev, this season, isn't it, for him? It's totally make or break for Mikel Arteta.
We have to see his team turn up this season. If his team don't turn up this season, then he's a dead man walking, Soph.
Yeah. By the way, we're going back to Mark. No chance Oba will get 20 goals, no longer playing to his strengths. Well, this is the turnkey season for Arteta to play to what he wants and get the best out of Aubameyang. He's not going anywhere. He's staying. He's the captain. Arsenal keep sending lovely messages to Aubameyang and promoting him in the off-season. I think they're trying to G him up, Kev, don't you?
Yeah,
make him feel special, that he's still the main man, he's still the guy. And you know what? Aubameyang needs to come back with a point to prove, right, Kev? You've done it
100%, before. 100%. Off season, you go away, you recharge, you come back with big belief in your belly and that hunger. Because you know what? Aubameyang should be looking at that, the goal scoring charts. He should be looking at the goal scoring charts and saying, hold on a minute. He's above me, he's above me, he's above me, he's above me. They can't. Let me prove it.
Yeah.
Let me go and prove it.
And cheeky. No, he's not going to Chelsea. That's not happening.
That's another question.
Yeah. Well, we can get to that.
If they stump the money up, would you sell him? Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to.
Kev, let's get through the first 3 questions first, and then we can...
Well, it's nearly 20 minutes gone.
I know. Let's get to the... let me just read off a couple more for you. Johnny Boy, I think the ownership need to make amends for their running the club down. Percentage cracking signings, and I'd be excited somewhat. Okay, so the general consensus in chat is, Kev, if we make the right signings, we have a chance of finishing top 4. If we don't make signings and key signings this season, and a lot of people have pointed to our midfield being an Achilles heel for Aubameyang and whether or not he can get those 20 goals, then they don't see it happening. That's the general consensus. Although Prash is feeling very confident and thinks that Oba's going to win the Golden Boot. I mean, look, Harry Kane, we don't know who's going to play next season. Jamie Vardy, he's aging as well. Aguero's gone. There's every chance for Aubameyang to win the Golden Boot next season, Kev, if we get this right.
We need a functioning Arsenal forward line, don't we? That's what we need. We've missed it. We've missed it. We really have missed it. And we're starting to see life out of Pepe, which is fantastic. Hopefully he could carry on that form to next season. We've seen Saka perform. Just needs to add a bit more goals. Smith Rowe needs to add a bit more goals. Martinelli, we know, can score goals, and he also can create. Lacazette, we know what he does for the team. He's got to, obviously, I think he was our top scorer, wasn't he? Lacazette, which is fine. But we need the main man, Aubameyang, back scoring goals for fun. We do.
Well, just before we get to your next question, what do you think about Arnie? Because I think this is a really important point. And you talk about this all the time, about players crossing the white line. It's not about the signings if players don't turn up in games. That is the switch that you believe has to be flipped no matter who comes in, Kev. Next season.
Why the signings have to be right.
Yeah.
So that's right. Because out of the midfield, potentially we're losing 3 players, aren't we? We've lost Odegaard, we've lost Ceballos, and the consensus Xhaka's going. So that's 3 players, and then he's not going to be a full starter at the football club. So really we need 3 midfielders. That's just to replace them in the squad.
I said to you, and you and I've talked about this, Kev. For me, the midfield, whether it's the DM, the CAM, call it what you want, those positions are the most fun. If we want to move on as a team, those 2 positions. Got to get them right. You know what, Kev, and you can tell me better than anyone because I don't understand tactics as well as you do. But if that midfield shores up and we have a bit of a wall and then we have possession and we're good off the ball as well, then that back line isn't as vulnerable.
He gets the rest.
They get a bit of respite in a game, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, you look at Man City and Liverpool. Their back line are just chilling out there when they're buzzing. They're just chilling there. Something pops out and somebody goes and crashes the ball, wins it back and gives it back to the midfielder, and the other opposition are like gasping for air because they can't get out. That's how we used to be.
Yes.
We need to get that back.
And Kev, Mark's comment, this is how we used to be too. We need more goals from midfield. And with Aubameyang suffering like he did last season, he's off form. Look at all the teams above us and around us. If their strikers weren't on form, they had people around them scoring. And we were a team that used to get goals from a lot of different areas of the pitch. And it's been a long while since we've been able to do that. That's a really good point, I think.
Yeah, we've relied, I think we said it at some stage last season, but really good point again from Mark. We need to be able to share the goals out because it's proven now we cannot rely on Aubameyang. It's proven now. We can't rely on his goals because if he doesn't score the goals, we're in the crap.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, I think we're all in agreement. It's the dream to qualify for the Champions League, but unless the current players we have show up, and unless the team invests, from the general consensus in the chat is that we don't have a chance. Kev's going to let us what he thinks at the end of the show. Here we go, squaddies. Get ready, everyone in chat. Thanks to all 200 plus of you for joining us on this fine Friday casual evening. It's Kevin Says.
Question number 2. We are getting linked with so many players right now. Are you fed up with all the hype? Or do you believe it?
This is, I have a headache from it all. And we do one transfer show a week, and we talk a little bit about signings and stuff intermittently in shows, Kev.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sent me this yesterday, I was like, what can I make rhyme with hype? And I was like, tripe.
I know, sir. I know another word. Don't worry about that. Begins with S.
I think it gets. Okay, so here's my 2 cents before I get to the squaddies. It's almost like, every player who's Arsenal are going in for this. Sometimes I wonder, is it the PR team? Do the Arsenal Football Club actually own the AFC Bell account? I've wondered that for a very long time. It's all a bit of a spin. We know we've got to sell before we buy. So I'm just going to get to the squaddies answers. Okay. Here we go. Let's get down to this one because we've talked about that one. Fed up. Matty K does not believe the hype.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very good point in between all of it. Don't forget to hit them likes if you hate Tottenham. MK says the hype is nonsense during the Euros. No, Kev, can you address this too? Because tell me this. Are players actually talking to their agents at this time in this tournament?
Yeah, they can. Of course they will. They'll be talking to their agents. Yeah, of course. Because you get a certain amount of downtime because all you're doing in tournament football is you're training, you're eating, you're resting. You might be doing other things, group things with the squad, but you're allowed your phones and stuff like that. So you'll be talking to your family, your agent, and friends. Yeah, of course. And because a lot of it will get set up before, obviously, the end of the tournament in the background. Mm-hmm. And with a bit of luck, it might put some injection of electricity into some players. Do you know what I mean? Because, well, really, this is happening, that's happening, these are in for me, that's in. Right, okay. So, it could add some impetus. But, yeah, players definitely are speaking to their representation.
Okay.
Definitely.
Are they allowed to go to the bar at night if they want on their own? Or is there a curfew?
It all depends. I mean, it depends when the games are. Normally, you're not allowed to drink 72 hours before a game. Mm-hmm. But, Gareth Southgate might allow a glass of wine or a couple of beers. After the game, just so the boys could chill out a little bit.
Okay.
And take it easy because I think they play Tuesday, don't they? Or something like that. So they've got a long time. It was a poor performance, for instance. It's a poor performance. Lads, it's gone. We move on. We just win the next game. We qualify. And then the tournament starts.
Yeah, because, it's interesting. After the tournament, I feel like there's always, after a major tournament, announcements that come. So you're right in the sense that they've got to be talking to their agents. They've got to be there's no doubt that Kane and Grealish are talking to their agents during this tournament. Their agents are checking in with them as well, aren't they, Kev? So
100%.
Yeah. Tom says absolutely fed up being linked with everyone and their dog. As long as it's not Vinny Vieira or Vespa Valentina, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we don't listen. We don't want to sign the Hellion. They'll be held to pay.
No, yeah, exactly. We need the Hellion. She's our Sergio Ramos. It's all hype until they sign on the line. Martin says would be more annoying not to be linked to anyone like Spurs.
Listen, they can't even get a manager to take that job. Jesus,
oh my God. Even Gattuso didn't work out. Oh my God, Kev.
Wow,
that says everything, doesn't it? Let's go back here for a second.
Hey, did anybody see Gary Lineker trying to get Jurgen Klinsmann in earlier on today?
What happened?
He was, because Klinsmann was on BBC and he said, I'm just wondering, have you spoken to Daniel Levy about the manager's thing? And he says, funny enough, he said, I spoke to Daniel Levy regarding something else. So basically, he didn't want it. Even Klinsmann didn't want it, but he was saying, well, let's see if you could, right at the end, he kept going. He said, even at the end, let's see if we could get Jurgen Klinsmann as the next Tottenham manager.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Because he's not doing anything, Jurgen. He's on ESPN here and stuff like that. Let's see. Prash says the player links are all linked to season ticket and membership fees. What's your take on this, Kev? Because a lot of Arsenal fans believe this. Arsenal do this every year just before the direct debit comes out. You and I talk a lot about winning the FA Cup. We've got the team to win the Premier League. Lack of investment. They've done it year after year. I think Prash has a point here in terms of the hype and the PR spin.
It's a big point. It's a big point. And if I may say so myself, although my answer comes at the end, I don't like what I see sometimes out of the Arsenal. And because I want them to be decisive. I want them to make moves. And, there's something that I read today that I'm going to mention at the end. I was like, really? Oh, okay. So there might be some interest going on.
All right. Hey, Ollie Wilson in the house. Ollie Wilson said to us the other day, Kev, you got to buy Locatelli before he even banged in a goal or made a pass in the Euros, Kev.
Yeah, that Ollie. He started well, and then that blimmin' Ollie. I tell you what, he mentions him. It's a bit too late to mention him. He's already at the tournament, Ollie.
Well, he mentioned him before the tournament started.
Yeah, no, but he's already there, wasn't he? He was already there.
I know.
Unfortunately, I think that ship sailed, Ollie.
For Arsenal, it's way so. It's like so far into the distance, you can't see it. Although, hopefully it's like sailing, but like the movie Dead Calm, where like there's a Billy Zane that comes on and wreaks havoc, and then we could like hijack the deal, but not violent in that way.
It's either that or we get rescued and we jump on and then we look at the name of the ship. It's Titanic.
It's not the Titanic.
It's the Titanic.
Do you think the Cronkies will invest to appease the fans to get them back on side, like Ollie says here, Kev? Do you think they will do that? They're going to do this?
I will mention that in my...
Okay. All right. I love it. Okay. Let me bring up some more... Barry says he wishes we did signings like Liverpool. They haven't done anything so far, though, but they have done in the past. I get it. Yeah, that's a fair point. Rago says most of it's lazy journalism with no references. What do you think of the IDK thing, Kev? And obviously there's Chris from Football London. There's Charles Watts. There's Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano. And then I think our good friend Dave Seeger of the show said, why does everyone just retweet what these guys say when we're all seeing? What's your take on like the Twitter sphere of it all and how
it's going to happen? Listen, if Arsenal weren't Arsenal, you wouldn't be seeing all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Arsenal are still a big draw. Everyone wants to know the inside details of everything. That's why when these guys talk about things or put something out there, and it might be a lost leader sometimes, you know that, Sophie.
Yeah.
But we the Arsenal fan base, we eat it up, don't we? Even if we don't believe it, we eat it up. I heard today. It's funny. I heard today. Ben White's fee's been agreed with Brighton. He's with England.
It's nonsense.
So it's funny.
Well, that's why we did the truths, myths, facts, fiction, because we're tackling the fiction of it all, and the fact that we're never really going to know what's going on until after the Euros. I agree with Ryan though here. Like the Kane deal might already be done, and they're waiting until after the Euros to announce it. I think there's definitely situations like that, Kev, that are going on, don't you?
Well, like I say, you've asked me the question about is our players speaking to their representation, and 100% they will be. And don't forget, I don't think the Harry Kane deal's done yet. I think he knows where he wants to go, but there's going to be more than one club in the mix. And that, out of courtesy and respect, you're gonna, he's not just gonna say, no, I'm not going to you. Maybe you'll need to have talks at some stage. And listen, who knows? There might be some dialogue with Tottenham as well, where a fee gets agreed with 2 or 3 clubs, for instance, and they allow him to speak. So there might be some special dispensation with the England squad where he goes privately, not leave, but goes privately, and he can speak over Zoom or whatever with his representation and the teams. These are the things that have to happen because you're playing tournament football.
Yeah. Bernard says the time to worry is when players aren't being linked because it will mean Arsenal are irrelevant. Well, I think not signing them makes us irrelevant. It's happened with Buendia. It might happen with Edouard. It could happen with 2 or 3 others.
Yeah, but I don't particularly think Buendia and Edouard were that high up on our priority list. It came out like they were, but if they were, Arsenal haven't signed anyone, so they've got money. If you know what I mean, they've got money to go toe to toe with Aston Villa. For sure, they have. And Edouard won't be going for a lot of money from Celtic to Leicester, possibly. So, again, if they were priorities, then I'm sure Arsenal will be flexing their muscles.
Yeah. Universal Greek said that. Do you think this is true? Because I've thought this too. The reason why Tottenham can't find a new manager is because Levy has to tell them that there's no Kane.
Well, I think that's one of the. You see, put ourselves in as a manager, not at that place, but put ourselves in the position
that
as
place.
a manager, right? If your star striker is leaving, you're going into the hot seat. What you're going to want to know, Soph? You're going to want to know.
Absolutely.
You're going to want to know, okay, he's going. How much of that kitty do I get to spend on a striker? Or how much of that kitty do I get as part of my budget? And Daniel Levy's probably said none of it. So everyone's going, oh, forget it then.
It's really alarming, really, isn't it? I mean, and to be fair, I mean, it's not a bad job, but it's a bad job without Kane. And maybe Son's thinking about leaving too. Why wouldn't he? I mean, who wants to stay for that? And just remember, if you hate Tottenham, hit the like button. When you hit the like button, it helps us, and it also helps you, because then we just become one. Tell them, Kev.
Listen, hit the like button and God broke your backside neck, right? Hit the like button. Hit it. Come on, guys. Listen,
all right.
It helps with our algorithms.
All right. So the general consensus on this one, Kev.
Head up.
Yep. And mostly people are enjoying seeing Spurs suffer as well. Oh, come on, ask. If you ask, what are you doing here? Is that a joke? Are you being sarcastic? Please let us know. Otherwise, we're going to block you.
He's a bit of a funny
LOL.
one,
Yeah.
Listen, but hey, it takes all sorts to come and watch the Goonies, because there's not much going on over that place.
No, there isn't. There isn't. You're right. Hit it, everyone. Hit it. Okay, let's go to question number 3 for this week's Kevin Says.
And the bonus, question 3. Does Gabriel Martinelli start more than 19 games next season? Does he start more than 19? So here's the recap. What chances do you give the Arsenal? Question 1. What chances do you give the Arsenal challenge for a Champions League spot next season? We are getting linked with a lot of players right now. And are you fed up with it, or with all the hype? Or do you believe it? Or, is that something you like? And the bonus, number 3, is does Gabriel Martinelli start more than 19 games for the Arsenal next season? Anyway, look, I'll look to deal with you, speak to you, engage with you, and connect with you in the show. So look after yourself, guys. Take good care. Kev says 32. I'm out.
Chat are Brock in the neck right now, Kev. They're left, right, and center. This is my favorite question of all. And ask, you're adorable. We know you're having a joke, so thank you so much for throwing in the old sarcasm. We need it in these times. We need it. Kev, Martinelli. I keep seeing all these players being associated with the Arsenal. And it felt like it was tough for him to break through into the team even after he overcame his injury. We talked about managing him, and taking care of him, wrapping him up in cotton wool and bubble wrap and all that stuff. I would love... He should at least, as Prash says here, start 19 games. Are you saying 19 games across all competitions or in the Premier League?
I just said 19 games. I didn't say any Premier League. I just said 19 games.
I don't think he's going to start 19 games in the Premier League. That would be half. I can't see that happening.
So do you reckon he'll start 19 games?
Yes. I think maybe collectively over all competitions, he may start 2021. Hopefully, God willing, he's fit and ready, Kev. But I can't see him starting that because we keep looking for... Can you see? Okay, you're going to tell us at the end. Let me just get to the squaddies here and see what they say.
It's quite a dilemma, isn't it?
It is for Martinelli.
You think about it, it's quite a dilemma.
Because in order for him to start that amount of games, Aubameyang's going to have to start down the middle. He'll have to be on the left. That means Lacazette may not start as many games. You got Pepe on the right. You got Saka. With Saka... How does that happen for him? Is he going to be a super sub? For me, it feels like he's going to be the guy always coming off the bench. And what worries me is that he might not like that. We got 12 here. That's worrying. That what worries me is that he's going to get fed up with this. He should be first choice on the team sheet. Prash says he ought to start. Yep, we got that. Avon says, by games, do you mean the league? That's what I asked. Kev said he's left it up to you.
I just said 19 games. I'm not going to pigeonhole him into the league because it's a long old season.
Yeah, Midnight says he should. Winston says with Arteta, he probably won't. Guna Vettel says, no chance. I love Martinelli, but Pepe, Saka, Smith Rowe in front of him at the moment. I think that's the issue. The Greeks back. Martinelli start 19 games, not a chance. It's clear Arteta is not convinced by him, Kev. MK says he should, but he won't. Ryan says he thinks Martinelli is out, a failsafe for Laka. I know. This is God. In essence, it's a good thing.
Don't forget, he's a baby.
Well, he's 19. He's 20. He turned 20 today. Happy birthday, Aubameyang and Gabriel, by the way.
Yeah, happy birthday to the guys. But he's still a baby. When you consider strikers, he's a baby.
But Kev, what's the difference between Saka being a baby and Martinelli being a baby? Is it because Saka's a Highland boy and Martinelli is not? Is it the injury?
Martinelli's from a different country for one. And
should that matter?
Well, yeah, it is, because coming into a club that you don't know, whereas Saka's grown up as an Arsenal boy, he's come through Highland, he knows the club. That's my point. Gabriel Martinelli was playing in Brazil a couple of seasons ago. All of a sudden, you come flying to a new country. We discussed it a little bit yesterday. As an experienced player, I was flying out to Turkey, and it was still quite daunting because you don't know. You got to find your feet and everything like that. This young man's coming from a different country, speaking a different language.
But he also has like some fellow countrymen in the team, right?
Well, great, but you know what? That don't tuck you in at night. That don't make you miss your family at night.
Are you
know what I
telling me
mean?
that David Luiz and Gabriel didn't used to tuck Gabby Martinelli into bed at night, Kev? Sweet
Well,
dreams.
no,
Bless you.
I'm just saying that don't tuck you in and make you feel all
No, I
comfy and
know.
nice. Do you know what I mean? And it's because what you tend to go for, to go for creature comfort, Sophie. You
I
go for
know.
the things that make you nice and settled. That's why having your family there, you see players travel first and then the family come over. And once the family come over, then the player settles down because you can get into a routine, etc. But he's such a young man.
For me, talent-wise, he deserves it. But when you do have Pepe and you have Saka, and then there's always the argument about what side Saka and Pepe should play, Kev, you know.
And then you got Aubameyang playing
and
from
then
the
you've
left.
got the argument about Aubameyang down the middle versus being on the left. And you still have Lacazette. You know, you got ESR. The squaddies are bringing up some really good points here. Diddley Squat says 1 or 2 injuries and he may be forced to play 20-plus games. This is true. This is football. No? I mean,
well, you see, I don't want to say too much because I'm going to summarize.
Okay,
but,
all right.
But we hope the injuries ain't his, because remember, we got a scare at Sheffield United, didn't we? Do you remember?
We did. Yeah, we did.
Got a scare, but he came through that, which was good to see.
Avon brings up a good point because of the African Nations Cup. Pepe and Oba are away for most of January. So he's going to get chances maybe in January, Kev. And who knows what will happen with Oba and Pepe when they're off playing in their competition as well. And also, but also, though, Gabby didn't make the Olympic team.
That's right. He didn't.
Which must be a huge disappointment to him to not make the Olympic team, because the Olympic team is the periphery players, let's be honest, right? Who are trying to break into that. You know, Brazil are playing in the Copa America right now. Gabriel made the Olympic team. That's a whole other conversation about when he's going to come back. He's going to need a rest. We've talked about that on the show as well. Are we sure? We don't know this yet, Demsek. It may or may not, but right now we don't know that whether or not it's going to go ahead. Let's just say it's going to go ahead. He may well get his chances as well. Let's see. Diogo, welcome to the show. I think Mikel doesn't fancy Martinelli. He speaks English very well and performs very well when he's on the pitch, so Mikel doesn't rate him. Kev, I've asked you this before. I'd like you to reiterate again. I know you're going to speak about the point later, but do you think Arteta rates Martinelli?
Yes, I do. I do think he rates him. I think the injuries that Martinelli's had at the club have been horrendous, and I think it's for any gooner who thinks that's the case, that Mikel Arteta doesn't fancy him when really the manager should be protecting him. I'm going to mention one name. It's Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish, you see the way he was at Aston Villa. You see the way they protected him come the end. He just came in kind of near the end of the season. They protected him. And he's a full international player. They're protecting him. Gabriel Martinelli has not started 10 league games for Arsenal. Yet people are talking about Gabriel Martinelli should be starting. It's ridiculous. And you know, let me mention another name, even closer to home. I think you know the name I'm going to mention, Sophie. Jack Wilshere. The Jack Wilsheres of this world should have been protected a little more. But because we didn't have the horses, we played him more than we should have. This is the problem.
And the same could have been said for Fabregas too. We overplayed Fabregas for a few seasons and didn't.
We don't have the horses, Sophie. That's our problem. We don't have the squad. So when a youngster comes through like Wilshere, and now Fabregas came through in the end, they play.
Yes. And also, I think George brings up a good point here. If Oberlacher and Pepe are still there, nothing has changed. So where does that leave Martinelli? Because Oberlacher, Pepe, Saka are always going to start over Martinelli. I agree with George. I think this is truth. And we're going to get to your comments here as well. Midnight, no, he's definitely not a pussy. He's a very, very, I mean, this kid who can play, he's hungry. He's a caged animal waiting to be, unleashed. This is true. Trevor thinks his time will come.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there's a lot of young players, though.
Well said, Trev.
But Kev, there's a lot of players his age playing,
What, for the Arsenal? Because let's be honest, Saka's the only really one who virtually starts every game. It's because Smith Rowe doesn't.
No.
Do you understand what I mean? Smith Rowe doesn't start every game. And I know it was good to see Martinelli get some games near the end of the season and stuff like that. But he had a horrendous injury. And we've got to protect these kids. We have to.
I know.
Because they're our future.
And we all said that Saka and ESR looked absolutely bushwhacked by the end of the season, Kev. And look, you know what? ESR might find himself in a similar boat to Martinelli next season if we go and buy a number 10.
True. Squad player. But there's going to be times where we need to shuffle that pack. Because, you want freshness in your team. Mm-hmm. You want that freshness. And if you need to move pieces around, everyone's got to be ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you get a call, you've got to be ready.
Right.
So that's, it's important for Martinelli to be ready.
Pramod agrees with you. People need to stop worrying about Martinelli. He'll play plenty of games. And what Kev says is spot on. Okay. A couple more here. Lone Star Londoner, good evening to you. You have to manage players' development. Martinelli had an awful injury, got injured quickly after his return. A lot of folks agreeing with you here. One more before you give us your point of view, Kev. Would you loan Martinelli then?
No chance.
Yeah.
No chance. Martinelli's going to stay. And listen, I'm going to summarize anyway, because I think that's really important. These youngsters have proven that they can make a difference in Arsenal's first team. The key is, can we get a first team together that can help carry them along? Because so whenever they play, they still can shine and look good. Whereas we were relying on the youngsters a little bit too much last season.
Yeah, it was a bit embarrassing at times, wasn't it, really?
It was. It really was. It really was.
Yeah, and I hear you on that front, Kev. It's about bringing in the support, getting in more leadership, bringing in players who are going to be able to, be mentally strong. They've got the talent, maybe a bit of PO experience where we can. And if not, at least they're seasoned players who can come in and balance the books. Because when you've even got the Azizis of the world and the Ballagans still around, and you've got the Sakas and the ESRs and the Martinellis, and there's still another plethora of players that we don't talk about a lot that are ready to kind of make their mark and maybe come through. And those are the players that will be going out on loan more so. We definitely need a little bit more oomph and leadership on the higher age bracket at the Arsenal, because let's face it, those players that have been there for a long time, Xhaka, good luck to him if he goes, even the likes of Chambers and El Neni, and, we got rid of those players in January. They just didn't have that gusto, did they? So take it away, Kev. What are your answers to your 3 questions this evening? Question number 1.
Well, Sophie, so you read out what question number 1 is, and I'll answer.
Okay.
Like I'm a squaddy.
All right, lovely. Gosh, can I remember what question number 1 was? Question number 1 was having a brain fart. How about that on live on live TV, on live YouTube? Who remembers the question? I don't remember it. We got Martinelli. We got where will we finish? Do we finish in the top 4? Yeah, there we go. That's the first one.
Well,
Super Kevin Campbell. Do you think the Arsenal will make the Champions League top 4?
I think we're just going to miss out. But I want us the way I was scoring the first 10 games. We're winning the league.
I do have your point. You got 23 points, Kev.
Yeah,
up
but
until the
I
end
was
of
winning. I
October.
was the 11th one we won as well at Watford. So what was going to be 26 after 11? Look, one thing I will say is this. I think what we've got to do as a football club, we've got to utilize the fact that we're not in Europe and use that in our favor. We've got to play an aggressive style of football against opposition that can be leggy because they have been involved in European football. We have to be able to chuck them at them, go for them, go for the jugular. We haven't seen that a lot at Arsenal, but I think we have to be able to use that because when we're not playing in Europe, we should be fresh. We should be so fresh. So I believe we can do it, but the squad may take a little bit more time to gel, so we might just miss out, but we're qualifying for Europe. That's for sure.
I couldn't agree with you more. With no European football, we've got the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Premier League. This is it. This is the time. This is the moment to capitalize and take advantage of the tired legs of the others playing in Europe. We've got to make this happen, Kev. If we can't do it this season, and if we don't do it with new injection of talent, then, you know, it's going to be questionable about Arteta. So, yeah, you know, it's all up for grabs. Okay, second question, Kev. So where do you see us finishing then? 5th, 6th?
Well, like I said, I think we're just going to miss out. So probably 5th or 6th, well, I think. But I think we're going to have a lot better season than we did last season. You know, we suffered real pain last season. I think we're going to be a lot better than that, honestly.
It was bad.
I do think we're going to be a lot better than that. So question number 2, Soph.
Okay, question number 2, and good evening to all 300 of you in live chat right now. Thanks so much for joining us this Friday night, as Kevin says. Transfers, Kev. Is it hype or tripe? What's your take on the transfers? It's crazy out there.
Yeah, listen, I don't believe any of it. I think it's all hype. A lot of it is all hype. But here's the thing. I've heard he's taken out another loan, hasn't he?
Well, he took out the loan to pay back.
No, but he's taken another one out, which there's no restrictions on it.
For the 250 million, is that what you're talking about?
So listen, I ain't even going to mention a number because that means we have transfer funds. I don't know how much we're going to have because it would be remiss of me to say, yeah, I know how much I don't know. But what that tells me is we have transfer funds, Sophie. So if one of the key targets come up, we have to go and get them. That's why I believe Buendia, yeah, we were after him, but there was a ceiling to what we would pay. Do you understand what I mean? Villa paid it, and Edouard, maybe because Lacazette looks like he's staying or whatever.
But surely we would have known that money was coming, though, right? I mean,
No, but what I'm saying is, if Buendia was a first target of Arsenal could have signed him. That's my point. They would have pushed to sign him, but they didn't.
So this is kind of like leverage. I mean, it's like hedge fund stuff going on here at the Arsenal, Kev. They're taking out they took out the loan, the 120 million, and then they took out the loan, what I understood a few days ago, to pay back that original loan, but that it would offset not from club money, but the Cronkies would pick that up. Maybe I got that wrong completely.
I've heard this wasn't to pay off anything. This was another chunk of money, chunk of change, 120 million, something like that, on top. So that all of a sudden there's a big lump of money sitting there. So my point of it is this: if we're going to do the business, we're going to need money to be able to move, because if you dangle that money carrot at certain clubs, they're going to do business with you, because the world of football is struggling at the moment. So you need the funds to be able to trade. So I truly believe it is hype, but we've got to get our shit together.
Isn't this what pisses Manchester United fans off about how the Glazers have leveraged the club with the debt? Kev. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, people need to know that rich billionaires always OPM. They
Always.
always.
But look, Abramovich done it a different way.
He wrote the checks.
Abramovich does it a different way because look at the amount of money that Chelsea were in debt to him.
Yeah. Did Chelsea owe him money?
Well, if he's writing the checks.
That's what Martin was saying.
It was owed to him.
Yeah.
But what did he do? He reversed it out and turned it into shares, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But that's when you could do that. That was before financial fair play, So they utilize, they do all that, Sheikh Mansour and all that. That's what they do. They do all that and then they reverse it out and spin it into shares. So it goes away. All right, brilliant. It's shares now.
But it's a tax benefit too, then, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah.
But the Cronkies could have done that when we needed it, but didn't. And now here we are.
Yeah. Okay, then let's get to your question number 3, Super Kevin Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Martinelli, does he start more than 19 games next season?
I think he does.
Ooh.
I think Martinelli is going to be so hungry. I think him getting that knock of not going to the Olympics is going to be a great motivator. Not that he needs motivating, but I think it's going to be a great motivator for him to play games. And he showed at the back end of last season just how good he was. And the manager saw it. He saw it. He proved it. And I think there's more games for him to play, definitely, because some of them front boys ain't getting any younger.
And Saka won't start the start of the season. Is it the Euros right now?
Yeah, he won't start the season. No chance. No way.
We'll see, how things shape up. But there's going to be opportunities. When you look at it, Kev, we've let a lot of players go. Our squad is slightly thin when it comes to seasoned or experienced regular starters.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Do you agree with that?
I do. And that was going to be my point in question 2 about having that nest egg there, having that money there, because we have to move, Sophie. We can't afford to mess around. We've got to move. In order to get the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli proper backup, Balogun coming in, maybe Aziz at time, to get these players properly backed up, we need a fully functioning first team squad. And look how many players we've lost. We've lost Matt Ryan. He's not there anymore. We've lost David Luiz.
Ceballos, Odegaard.
Odegaard, rumors that Xhaka's going. Kolasinac is coming
Bellerin.
back. Bellerin, may be going. Guendouzi may be going. Who knows? But again, because Gabriel is with Brazil in the Olympics as well, that's even more so why Saliba comes back.
Also,
and
Kev,
we're being linked to Ben White. Yeah.
What's going to happen with Willian too? I mean, he's going to be tough to shift.
Yeah, but I think something would happen there. I do. I just think something would happen there. I think he knows it hasn't worked out. So I just see that something happening with Willian.
Yeah, and the kid says Torreira's still.
He's back. He's going to be back,
and he wants to go. He's made it clear after what happened. God bless.
Yeah,
with
but
his
he
mum.
knows. Yeah, he understands the situation. He knows he's contracted to Arsenal. But the fact of the matter is, Sophie's business.
Yeah,
it's business, and if you've paid 50 grand for a motor. And somebody wants to offer you for 5 grand.
I mean, I'm not selling.
You've got to put sentiment aside, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Because it comes down to a business transaction. So, yeah, listen, there's a lot of work to be done, Sophie. A lot of work to be done.
Here's one for you from the Noel Dolly. Casey and Soph won't tell you, but here's the truth. Arsenal's next season is already over. Oh my God. Wait, what? Should we just not even watch without a football being kicked? Why? Because Arteta's still the manager and you lot are something. Are you an Arsenal fan or are you just an Arsenal hater? Nothing's over until the fat referee blows the whistle and the ball has been kicked. Look, today no one gives Scotland a chance. They get a point off England. My Greece, Euro 2004. Everyone shat on us from a height, said we were anti-football and the devil of football. We beat Portugal, we beat France, we beat the Czech Republic, who were hot at the time, and we ended up winning Euro 2004. Don't be so negative.
Too negative. Nobody gave Arsenal a chance in 89. Look what happened. Sold an old dolly. Sometimes, you know what? If you haven't got something good to say,
don't say it
nothing at all.
And look, even Newman's saying that guy makes me look like an optimist.
Oh, jeez. I won't quite say that, Newman.
Yeah, don't go too far. Don't go too far. Wow. Another brilliant edition of Kevin Says. Anything else you want to summarize or wrap up, Kev? 3 great questions. We talked about where we might finish next season. We talked about transfers, hype or tripe. And we talked about the wonderful golden little angel of a player that is Gabriel Martinelli. Happy birthday to him and Aubameyang today. Yep. Anything else you think you may have missed, Kev?
No, yeah. Look, I've got so much in my head, but I just want to discuss quickly that we've got a lot of work to do, Sophie. There's a lot of moving and shaking with players who don't have Mavropanos, there was talk of him going somewhere for 7 million. Whoa, what's going on? You know what I mean? What's going on? There's a lot of work to be done on this squad, even with the players that are just out on loan. Mm-hmm. And then players who we're going to be looking to bring in, and then players who we're looking to ship out. There's a lot of moving and shaking. There's a lot of connecting that has to go on. Because the right players have to come into this football club, Sophie. The right and players with the right attitude as well. That's going to make a big difference to us.
Yeah. Real quick before we go, MK wants your answer on. Casey, what's your top positional priority?
MK, center of the pitch, midfield. Midfield. Without an engine room, we've got nothing. We can't go nowhere. So, we've already lost, 3 players from the midfield? We need to replace them just to be at par. Do you know what I mean? Just to be at par, we need to replace them. So we definitely need more quality in that midfield with Thomas Partey.
Definitely. Okay, last night I mentioned to you guys as well about Jags and him trying to raise money for his mum. I wanted to share this picture with you guys. Jags jumping out of a plane. And raising money for the Heart Foundation. How about that, Kev? What a shot that is.
Fantastic.
It's just brilliant. You can go to justgiving.com and find Jagdev Chaim. It's Gagdev and then last name Chaim. You can donate money. He's raised £3,217. He heard all of your messages last night and it warmed the cockles of his heart. His target initially was 1,500, Kev, and he doubled that.
Fantastic.
And he did it all for the love of his mum. And it's a beautiful thing. I love this picture. Anytime you guys have stuff like that, we've always said the Highbury squad is here to support you as well. We'll put the link up on the show, on the description of this show as well, so you guys can click on that real easy and go and find it.
Nice, worthy cause. Brilliant, Jags. Brilliant,
really good stuff. And so, yeah, we just wanted to, and he said to everybody, like, thank you so much. He's one of our squaddies, and you know that we're all squaddies for life here as well.
He's won everything, hasn't he? So
he's won everything.
He's won everything.
He's the Invincibles.
He's won everything. All the shirts, anything that's going, he's won it.
Definitely. All right. So Super Kev, we will be back for maybe a show. Or listen, guys. I know that we're here for you. You're here for us. It's been a really long season, so we're trying to take a couple of days off here and there where we can to get some respite too and spend some time with family, friends, catch some rays in the summer sun. So look out on our Twitter and also on the community page on YouTube for next week. We will have Curtis Shaw on the show next week, which we're really excited about as well. Our good friend Magic Mike is going to be around to talk about the Gooners versus Cancer charity as well. We want to help them as much as we can to raise money as well. And look, I love it when people say don't go. I know we don't want to go either, but we're going to go because we have to. Well, we don't have to, but you know, you don't want a 2-hour show on a Friday night, do you really? I mean, I think you do, but and then Newman, oh my God, your crush. I love it. She's coming back next season. She's going to be one of our tactical people. All right, Newman? Jess is coming back. I know, Johnny boy. We love you guys. No one wants us to go, Kev. Everyone wants us to stay and hang around. We love that.
Everybody's cheesed off with the England performance.
They are.
They're talking Arsenal's good.
Shall I tell them tonight? I'm going to tell you tonight. So we have a really big show coming to you on July 5th. It's going to be the week of. Shall I wait? Is it too soon?
Are you gonna announce it tonight, or are you gonna do it the right way?
I'll wait.
Do it the right way.
Okay, fine.
Do it the right way.
I'd say it's such a typical chick thing. I just want to tell everyone.
It deserves that.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. All right, okay. It's so funny, Kev. You just stopped me. Thank you so much. You knew I was
I knew you were going for it.
Well, there's two, isn't there? But this one is the one, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Stum. I'm just going to let Kev close the show right now. Thanks to all 300 plus of you who joined us tonight. I know I'm not going to blab it, Kev. No, not going to do it. It's going to be great. It's going to be epic.
Now, did you see that? Now.
I love this saying. It's one of my favorite loose limp sink ships for sure. So I'm going to hand over to Kev and I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Boom.
Right, guys, thank you for joining us again this week. It was always a pleasure. Always pleasure working with Sophie. And Sophie's done a great job this week. And it's always Arsenal. But you know what we say? Up the Arsenal squaddies.
At ease, soldiers.